afternoon, traders. Welcome to Trader Growth Lesson here. We're going to go over a pattern that we posted on Instagram known as the double bottom. This pattern is very profitable when you spot it, but you need to be willing to look at it in different ways and understand that while it's drawn very easily and it looks simple when you're looking at straight lines, when you get into your charts, you need to be a little bit more flexible. So I'm going to look at some of the things that I've done. And I'm going to go over a trade that I executed earlier last year on lows, and in another setup that I'm currently looking at that is more in the process of developing, and we can follow that in the future as we go on. So what is a double bottom? A double bottom is essentially the idea where price is trading. It will push down to a level. It will push up and be rejected. It will push back down, find support until finally at some point that support becomes accepted and price goes higher, and from there maybe flags or consolidates before breaking out to the upside or being rejected and coming back down. So as traders, it's our opportunity to get in with defined risk before we see an opportunity, before there's an issue, to take advantage of patterns that we've seen in the past and see if it will play out again. So what did I do when I took this setup on lows? I'm going to remove these drawings from the charts, and we'll get started on how I traded this. Lows for me was interesting in this chart pattern as I got really interested around this move at the 200. I thought we were going to have some kind of pattern reversal here. This yellow line is my 200 period moving average, and I thought, okay, we're going to go and break above these levels and start a bullish trend. But we didn't. We rejected this previous support level in here, which we had this channel we were trading in. And we sold off pretty hard. We didn't get a whole lot of momentum over the 200, and we sold off and held this as support. And unfortunately, we sold off until we finally got a good earnings call, which just so happened to kind of be this double bottom scenario that we're looking at. So one of the things that's important to understand is that we talked about double bottoms maybe not looking right all of the time. Some traders will say, well, this doesn't count as a double bottom because for this to be a double bottom, you would have had to hold the low of this candle, which is 71.58 exactly. I don't subscribe to that theory at all. I think that's bullshit, okay? The reality of the situation is the idea of a double bottom is more important to me than the technicals of the double bottom. And some people might say, well, you're being a fool. And I don't think I am because I have a broad picture in mind. My picture is that if I'm getting long here in this pattern for a double bottom, I have a very clear defined risk to the low of this candle. And if this is a double bottom, it will move to the upside, at the very least until whatever our previous neckline resistance was. And you can see when we got up into that area, we consolidated for a while with some issues before moving higher back into the channel that we previously traded in. And then we came back down, retested the channel, and took off. So if you were just to follow lows during this stretch of time, there's a lot of money for you to be made in this one particular stock, over the course of 6 or 8 months, if you're following. So let's go ahead and take a look at a more current example for this double bottom. So you can see here on ticker HL that we're looking at the daily chart again. And I like to look at the larger time frames for these because I prefer to swing trade, but these are valid in any time frame. Just remember that your entry and exit signals have to come from that same time frame. You can't trade a double bottom on a 5-minute and expect to get a multi-day move out of it. So once again, price action here is a little bit on the choppy side in the sense that it's not a perfect double bottom like most people would look to see, but that's irrelevant for me. Once again, the idea is that the double bottom is in, and the idea is now that we could potentially move higher. I really got interested as this popped up on my scanner, but I was afraid to take a position or alert this to our subscribers because of this earnings call. And that earning call happened last week, 2:15. So they had an earnings beat, which is fantastic. So what I'm kind of looking for here is for the price to flag in this area, and then we'll move higher to either complete this double bottom pattern to the neckline, where we'll watch it to see if we consolidate or we break higher. Chances are we're going to have a pretty difficult time with this 200 period moving average as resistance just comes across. But if we do break above it, there is a good chance that this is a long-term position reversal from here, as we're still well in the oversold lower half of the RSI. Our MACD is still below the zero line. So if we do manage to develop some strength in here, this could be a very strong position for a long period of time. And I would look to eventually break this downward trend and then really start to develop momentum. Now, if we break down in this area, perfect area, guys, then just be aware that it's a failed double bottom and there could be a potential to short. So as things develop, you want to look and see how they go. But as far as the double bottom is concerned, to recap, you're looking for price action to bounce off of a support level that is known, kind of creating what looks like a W pattern. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be choppy. There can be areas. There can be other moves in between. But the general idea of a W should exist for the best chance of development. If you have any questions, hit me an email. If you follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message on Instagram. I don't have any problems answering. I appreciate your time. I'm going to try and do more of these lessons in the future, add them to the blog, and then work on a YouTube for everybody, and then eventually build a whole expanded course and lessons for some of our students to reference. So I appreciate it, guys. Stay hungry and humble. Thank you to everyone.